Welcome, Taurus, your Sagittarius full moon 2 week forecast for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. On the 31st of May, we have a full moon, the second of the month, but each lunation is completely unique. On the screen is the exact moment the sun and the moon are in opposition, which can create that intensity. The king of the queen battling for domination, but the moon for you is in the free spirited sign of Sagittarius, which can be quite outspoken, but it's the eighth house, which is shared finances, resources, investment, taxation, maybe the things we're attached to, could be even a relationship where we find someone very hard to resist, but is it really good for us? By the end of this video, I have unpacked all of this for you. You have a clearer picture of what's upcoming in terms of your energy, work, relationships, and finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. So on the screen, the exact moment the lunation occurs, there are two things I want to share with you straight away that go beyond the full moon itself. Venus, your ruler, is in the nurturing sign of Cancer, and through to the 13th of June can bring some real lovely connections and conversations to you. But as we go into this event, Saturn, the planet of limitation, but in the 12th house can be what we don't quite see, is in a square with Venus. So when it comes to your relationships, particularly if you're very much a giver, you're easy going, there may be something you're not quite seeing at the moment. It's not because you're not shrewd, it's because someone may be shielding that information or perspective. But also, as we came to the end of May, Mars in your zodiac sign is encouraging you to strut your stuff and really believe in your focus, your identity, and what you want to do for yourself, not what you're sharing with anyone else. But it did square off to Pluto at the top of your chart, which is the planet of power. So there may have been some tension that's been playing out recently, but someone you've been talking to may be holding some a viewpoint or energy or resentment from you that isn't entirely obvious. So what the full moon can do, creating that intensity in a very practical way, an eighth house full moon asks you to be mindful of your long-term financial situation and not be too caught up in being frivolous in the here and now. That's in the practical context. But the second house can also be about our sense of personal value. The eighth house can be where we're invested or where we're perhaps even fearful to be invested, because the eighth house moon position can be a little bit about nervousness because maybe we want to maintain our freedom and independence, and that's that Sagittarius energy. And that could be where a relationship is complex. You may feel pulled towards it in some ways, but in other ways want to pull away from it. But it may not be a romantic one. It could be a friendship that feels a little bit leveraged somehow. It could be with a family member. It may be with a colleague or a boss. It may be in your own business, making the right financial decisions, and you could feel a bit conflicted. So how do you work with this over the next 2 weeks? Well, the main thing is that Sagittarius energy is about knowledge. The ruler of the sign is Jupiter, which is about our higher purpose through its influence of the sign of Sagittarius. But this event occurs in the first 10 degrees of that sign, subruled by Jupiter. So the more information you can gather, particularly if you are grappling with paying off debt, settling invoices that are outstanding, dealing with your personal taxation, insurance matters, the more information you gain, the better it can be, because that Saturn energy in the 12th house could actually be you. It could be your own worry about how this part of the year is going and whether there's something that is inhibiting you from taking advantage of things in the way you can. Because Mars, frankly, in your sign is encouraging you to strut your stuff, feel absolutely gorgeous. It may easily be that there is someone that you're drawn to who's not entirely right for you, and you kind of know it, but you can find them almost irresistible because second, eighth house energy can be highly charged sexual energy too. Now, if that's not playing out in your situation, it may be you're dealing with an unscrupulous landlord. It could be a boss who's not paying you the right rate for the job or wanting you to work overtime and not recompense you for that. So somehow or another, your personal values are being challenged by this event, your own money, but also there where you interact with others. And that is where Mars, in that quincunx with the moon, could see you be very more outspoken than perhaps would normally be the case if you feel that someone's being unfair. Good for you if so, but sometimes in life you have to be a little bit tactical. You know more than any other zodiac sign that stability is incredibly important to you. So if you push back too hard in the wrong way, and the more exaggerating energies of the moon in Sagittarius get a grip, and Mars in your own sign, which is very much about your pride, gets ignited, you could find yourself boiling over on something that actually is not the right thing for you, even if you're speaking your truth. So just be conscious that as June goes on, Venus, your ruler, is going to be forging blessings with Jupiter, the planet of fortune, all through week 2 of June, but particularly on the 9th. It's a magical day. So just expect there is going to be a lot of intensity over the next 2 weeks. Know you could feel a bit impulsive about someone that you find attractive. You may even feel a bit impulsive about spending money. Sagittarius energy, Sagittarius moon doesn't like constraints. It wants to be a free spirit. But if you're wanting to keep your finances on an even keel, if there are things you can do to pare down a little bit of cost or debt, or be more conscious of where you're spending your money, that's going to be a smart thing to do. I'm going to summarize those 4 areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next. But Taurus, I've reduced the price of my personal horoscopes. For many years, it was buy two, get 30% off. The cost of living increases are really affecting people. So now you can pay for one and get three. So three for the price of one. The one you pay for is your life roadmap report. It helps us all to understand the patterns that are played out so far, get a more intimate understanding of them, but work those energies future forwards better. Free 12 months transit forecast, but also your draconic soul karmic analysis. If in your natal chart the North Node is not, late in Pisces or early in Aries, your draconic chart can look vastly different. It can help us to look at astrology, life, and ourselves in a profoundly different way. Please see below for more. If you've yet to watch your June monthly forecast, which I've published now, please check those out. If you've yet to watch your Mars in Taurus 6-week forecast through to the 28th of June, please check that out. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be a pleasure. I have worked with people on every continent of the earth. It's always a privilege. Please see my testimonies below. If you've yet to sign up for your free written daily horoscope fired to your device each morning, please see that below. I do think people can be a bit sniffy about daily horoscopes, but I'm reporting on the dominant planetary influence each day, which helps us to navigate things that much better. I don't tell people what to do or how their day exactly will be. I share the backdrop of energy. So to summarize, if you're in a situation where you need to stand up for yourself around your rights, around a financial matter, and you do so, I think you're going to find it hugely empowering. If you're dealing with a complex situation where someone else seems to have the upper hand, unfortunately, that Saturn in the 12th house squaring off with your ruler, it could deplete your vitality and make you feel a bit miserable. But do know, with Mars in your sign, you own your dominion. If you want to change something, even if it means upsetting the status quo that's so important to you, you can do it. And by the second week of June, better things are coming. When it comes to your professional situation, if you do work in an environment that you enjoy, your voice is heard, you can use your mind, you can be very businesslike. I don't really see an issue. When it comes to relationships, however, if there is one where you see things very differently, it may be about intimacy, it could be about money, it could be about the budget. It could be about the care of children. That's often an issue. I feel that Saturn square with Venus, if a tie is really struggling and you don't think the person you're with shares your values, it could really be the end zone. But it's also important to note that if you meet someone at this time, you may find them very difficult to resist. But in an ongoing relationship, I just think it's about seeing that you may have different values, but if you can just compromise a little bit, because the second, eighth house houses can be a bit fixed, even if the planets involved are immutable, flexible positions. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a real pleasure being with you. All the best for the next 2 weeks, and see you again soon.